Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. With our main topic today, we're discussing today the initiative that is launched by President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi, Decent Life. And Decent Life is an initiative, one of the very important project and initiatives launched by President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi in order to raise the standard of living of citizens living in villages and rural areas in Egypt. To shed more light on Decent Life initiative, we have the pleasure to host this morning Ambassador Ayoub, Mahmoud Ayoub, the former Minister Commercial. Good morning, Ambassador Ayoub.
Good morning to you and to the viewers.
Well, Ambassador Ayoub, how do you see the importance of this initiative launched by President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi, the Decent Life, and we are in the first phase of the Decent Life initiative?
It is a very important, especially at this stage. The timing is very important. All over the world, we are seeing the repercussions of the COVID. When we initiate Decent Life now, this means this is a salvation operation for the economy, for the ordinary citizen, and for the unemployment in the country. It comes at a time which is very critical because in most of the countries of the world, we have seen that the growth rate is with minus or almost at standstill. But in Egypt, growth rate is almost 2.8%. Yes. Despite the COVID and all this, and despite the changes which you have seen in all the components of the economy. So this initiative of President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi comes at a critical time and is very important for the ordinary citizen. When I say the ordinary citizen, I am speaking about the 80% of the population. They are benefiting of it, and they should cope with it, cooperate with it, and make use of all its components.
Yes, so as you are saying now, Ambassador Ayoub, that more than 50% of the Egyptians are going to benefit from this. How would this initiative change the lives of Egyptians and change the standard of millions in Egypt in the villages?
When we are created, we know that there is unemployment and there is lower income for most of the segments of the community. When we open windows for them to make business, to make profits, and to make employment, this is very important for the economy as a whole, because we are creating new opportunities, new chances of life for the ordinary citizen who were unemployed for this or that reason. Now we are creating a new area for them to make use of this initiative. This is one thing. Other thing is that many people who have capital do not know how to use it. When you are opening a window for them to use their money to increase its value, not its number only, and the value, the market value, when we are increasing it, so we are creating opportunities for them to raise their capital, to increase their capital, and at the same time for employment for those who want to work. It is very important for our youth to look to the positive parts of any transaction which we have, of any projects. Do their best to get the best results in the shortest time possible, because we are living in a competitive life. So we have to compete with our counterparts, with the foreign countries, and with the other projects which are trying to find a foothold in Egypt. Many projects now are initiated, whether Egyptian projects or with foreign capital, and they need to establish a presence because Egypt is a big market. When I say a big market, I mean 104 million consumers every day. This is a big market by all dimensions. This initiative gives impetus for all the segments of the community to work and to do their best. I will say work 24 hours for 7 days a week. I can say that because some persons do not know their importance. They are vital to the economy. Every individual is vital to his community, not only to his family, but also to the community. So we have to use this initiative, which is very important at this time, to raise the standard of living, raise productivity. Productivity is a very important word in this respect, and also raise the profit margin, and also raise the hopes of the people of a better future
Yes.
for themselves, not only for the
Yes.
country as a whole, which is very important, but also for every individual. It is very important to make use of this initiative to raise his standard of living and raise his hopes in the near future. I mean, many
Yes.
persons now who were unemployment, now you have a chance to go and work. So use the chance to prove yourself. Don't ask for help, but do it yourself.
Yes, yes. So this initiative is launched in cooperation with the coordination between the presidential initiative and the social solidarity ministry.
Yes.
So
This initiative, there are many components to it. Presidential decree or initiative, I will say, Ministry of Social Solidarity,
yes,
the private sector, and the NGOs.
yes.
These,
How would the NGOs and help in implementing these such an initiative?
the NGOs
Yes,
play
a big role.
very important role
Yes,
in implementing this initiative. Why? Because they are mobilizing the local
Yes.
forces to do something beneficial to the community.
and they also have a list of from years and years ago
Yes.
of the villages and rural areas in Egypt.
The NGOs,
Aren't they? Yes.
like Rotary and so on,
Yes.
the Rotary Community Corps, they work in this area.
Yes.
They give support to a local community, give them the project, and ask them to manage it later on. We initiate the process and ask the locals themselves
Yes.
to proceed in implementing the goals so that every person of the community is benefiting. This is a is benefiting from the project. This is the important role of NGOs. They are giving impetus to the individuals, and beside giving impetus, they are teaching them how to do it.
Yes.
And how to market their products. If marketing is a very important part in this process. So they are giving small units, if we can say that. They are giving them a small project which generates income for themselves, and we change the location to other locations so that from Alexandria to Aswan, the RCCs, for example, are
Yes.
helping the individuals to raise their standard of living, to raise the employment rate, and also, which is very important, when we have some people are complaining about this and that, go on and do it yourself.
Yes.
Don't ask someone else to do it for you. If you can do it, do it. If you cannot, ask for help so that you can do it later on
Yes.
or now.
Yes. So the initiative aims at providing drinking water lines and also providing ceilings and roofs for buildings and houses in rural areas and villages. Could you give us to shed light on the details of the initiative?
This is one of the, I will say, a lovely initiative in this respect. Why?
Yes.
Because when we go to the countryside in El Bihira or El Sohag or El Fayoum or El Sur or Aswan and find some houses do not have access to water.
Yes.
They don't have electricity. Sometimes in certain cases they don't have a ceiling.
The ceiling, yes.
We go first, put the ceiling
Yes.
and they give them one lamp, just one lamp.
Yes.
One electric bulb, one bulb,
Yes.
if you can see it. And a tap of water and some way to make use of the water for drainage also is very important. So we are changing the lives, and at the same time we are giving literacy lessons
Yes.
to the illiterate, especially women in the countryside, in the villages.
Yes.
When we are giving them literacy, giving them a ceiling, giving them water, clean water, I mean.
Also dividing or distributing blankets. is
Yes,
one, yes,
I have myself, I've been to Bani Mazar, Bani Swaif, give them blankets to
Yes.
hundreds of families. And when We speak to them. We are not just donors, but we are trying to give them hope.
Help.
And help means a hope in the future, so that they also help themselves and raise their children in a healthy environment, which is very important. When the children find that they are warm, and thanks to the support of this Rotary or whatever other organization, NGOs are playing a very important and lovely role as far as this initiative is concerned, especially in the countryside, and the countryside needs a lot, and we encourage, NGOs are encouraged to go to the countryside. Cairo and Alexandria, they can take care of themselves in a way. But the countryside needs the NGOs.
Especially the Upper Egypt. The initiative also noted that Upper Egypt is going to take a very big care from this initiative.
It is a wise approach.
Or the most care. Yes.
To begin or to focus on the Upper Egypt or Upper Egypt or South Egypt, as it is known geographically. Why? Because the growth rate in Upper Egypt is lower than that in the northern part of Egypt.
Yes.
So when we are focused on the areas where the growth rate is lower, we are trying to raise the growth rate, and this reflects on employment, on the income, per capita income of this, and which is very important, and to make the people more cooperative with the organizations, whether NGOs or the government itself.
Yes.
We need cooperation between the individual, the citizen, and the
How
government.
can the citizen or the society help in implementing this initiative, or help the government?
The government does a lot.
Yes.
Within its resources. Let us be clear about within its resources.
Yes.
But there are other resources which you can mobilize. That's the resources of the business and the resources of the NGOs, and in some cases we find support from other countries in this respect for a special project at a special location and special time, a specific timing, which is very important. So we individuals should be encouraged to be positive, to take role, to play an important role in the development of their own community. This is what we call Rotary Community Corps. They do the needful for the individuals themselves, teach them how, or train them how to do it.
Yes.
And when to do it, and sometimes they will give the tools for them.
Yeah.
Especially for example, they are raising a villager are raising chicken, for example. We give them the better strains of chicken and how to feed it, and the product that is the eggs, how to better market it in a let us say in a cooperative way. This raises the per capita income or return for each individual who is taking part in this community corps. This is one thing. Other thing is that the business has a role to play. We should be very clear about this. The business is not only for making a profit, but rather for creating proactive environment around them, so that every individual is reaping the results of the development which you are seeing in different parts of Egypt. That is very important. Business are making profit, good. We like them to make profit, but also the profit should be spread to a bigger number of the individuals.
Yes. Ambassador Ayoub, a report by the Planning Ministry said that the education sector is one of the top priorities of this initiative, noting that 156 schools should be covered under the initiative. What's your comment?
Education and health are the two main pillars of any development in any country. When we are speaking about education, we know that India, give an example, India is exporting not merchandise, but rather engineers, electronic engineers, to the United States.
Yes.
So education makes a difference between the countries, which is very important. This is one thing. Other thing is that when we are beginning from the early ages, let us say the early stages, that is age 5 years old, and give them proper education with proper tools. That is, we are in year 2021 now, which is very important. So you should use the tools of today to educate the brains of tomorrow. That is a very important thing for us.
Yes.
So that Any effort which is exerted by the government will reap results when it is educated people. If they are not educated, it is a big problem. That is why the NGOs also will say again, they concentrate on literacy lessons and the basic education. It is one of the main or the 7 areas of focus which we are focusing on. Education and basic education, literacy and the basic education is very important. When I say education is not alphabetical, it is also electronic one. We are speaking about now about electronics and the social media. These are all means which we should all be aware of and use it properly, because the new generation sometimes use it in a way which is not beneficial to them, not beneficial to their country. We should use it in a way that brings them results. I say results, positive results, help them to raise their standard of education, raise their standard of training, and also give them a better chance in employment. That is very important. When we have a good education, we can have good prospects for good chances of for employment later on.
Yes, Ambassador Ayoub, many global and international bodies have praised this initiative launched by President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi, Decent Life. If you would like to comment on this.
When we send the Moody's speak about Egypt, the prospects for Egypt is stable economy. That's very important. Stable economy. Stable, when they say stable economy, giving us B or B plus rating, this means that the investors are encouraged to come to this market and invest in this market. So this initiative is giving a good chance, it is a good magnet.
For economic growth.
Yes, for economic. It is economic magnet for big projects, big companies, global companies to invest in Egypt. When I say invest in Egypt, there are very good and important developed projects which you have seen in infrastructure, in ports, in highways, and in tunnels, and all this, in electricity, in power. And we need to increase the areas, land reclamation, agro-industries, industry, exports. This will all reflect on the standard of living. So this initiative will reflect the impact will spread on all the segments of the community, but every individual have to play his role and your role with education, with good health, which is very important, with good employment opportunities, and also with good training. We need to train the new generation with the criteria of 2021.
Yes, I thank you very much for your valuable information and for coming to us this morning. Ambassador Ayoub, Mahmoud Ayoub, former Minister Commercial, I thank you very much for joining us today.
Thank you, and thank you to the viewers.
Thank you very much, sir. I thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, and I leave you now with my colleague Nermeen Abdurrahman.